Good morning. So I do love this question. Is it better to lift heavier weights with fewer reps or lighter weights with more reps? So it depends on your goal, of course. So if you've got a strength goal up here, if you want to just get stronger, or heavier weights, fewer reps is probably going to be better. If you've got a mix of a goal where you're like, I want to get stronger, but I also want to burn a few more calories, I want to lose some weight, I want to tone up a bit more, I want to build a bit of muscle, then you might want to go a little bit lighter, but still do a fair amount of reps. And then if your goal is just purely to help with muscular endurance, you're thinking about to help with burning calories, keep that higher intensity going as well, then you're going to give potentially higher reps again. But really, it actually comes down to progress. And unless you're like a powerlifter, strong person, doing where it's all about numbers on the bar, like the weight you lift, then you probably don't just want to lift really heavy and low reps. And let's define what we mean by low reps here. Because firstly, you've got like the 1 to 5 rep range. So maybe a 1 to 5 reps, that's going to be quite a heavy weight. You're going to need lots of rest time in between to get enough sets in, get enough amount of volume in for it to be worth it for many people. So if you're short on time, you've got a few injuries, a few niggles, and lower back issues, knee pain, whatever, and you're going, right, I'm going to do 1 to 5 reps, real heavy because I want to get strong, your risk of injury is so high for the reward you're going to get. So I probably wouldn't recommend doing that often, maybe from time to time. If you've built up your form, your technique in the first place, and you've been doing higher rep range and you're confident and you're coached and it's done well, you can do that from time to time for sure as a bit of a benchmark, but I wouldn't just go straight in at that. Then you got more what we call hypertrophy rep range, but I'll come on to that in a second, where you're looking a bit higher than that, maybe 8 reps, 6 to 12, around that, where you're still lifting a good amount of weight. And this is why it's called the hypertrophy realm. You're still lifting a good enough weight to cause a stimulus, and you're doing it for enough reps to really get other mechanisms going, whether it's blood flow, etc. And you can do a fair amount of volume, fair amount of reps with this good weight. So you still need some rest in between, perhaps between sets, but not as much as the strength work. Then you've got more muscular endurance, like 12 plus, 20 reps, higher than that, which is still going to build some muscle. Let's face it, if you think about muscle, it responds to tension and overload in general. So overload could be by the reps you do, by the sets you do, by the weight you do, by the number of times in a week that you do as well. So there's lots of variables here. So actually, like they can all be useful for your goal, and it's how we put these together which counts. And it comes back to the goal. Let's take someone who's doing a fitness event like a high rocks or something. You're probably going to want to do a lot of cardiovascular work within this as well. That's another subject. You're going to want to do some muscular endurance work, but you're probably going to want to do a little bit of strength work as well. So it's that combination and how you put it together. When you do your strength work, you probably want to be feeling pretty good. Maybe you've done some recovery work before, or your heart rate isn't too high all the time. But from time to time, you'll want to be seeing how you perform with your heart rate up. And there's some competing stuff going on here. So in terms of muscle tone though, if someone said, I just want to get more muscular, tone up, get in shape. Hey Wendy, if I want to tone up, get in shape, then you're probably going to want to go around hypertrophy range most of the time, and then go within the other two. So good, maybe anything from 8 reps up to 20 reps or so, depending on the exercise, of course, is probably quite a good place to stay in most of the time. So a weight that pushes you in that zone. But like I said, this is very individual. Sorry not to give you a straight answer, but it is very vanilla. But what we know from research is people can get the same results if the volume's the same. So whether you do light weights or heavy, it doesn't really matter, providing the total volume, sets times reps times the weight you lift, is kind of pretty much the same. So that's a good thing to know, that you can kind of do what you enjoy, but there's got to be progressive overload. You've got to be progressing, whether that's the reps you do, the sets you do, or the weights you do over time. Because guess what? Light weights were only light because you've lifted already. All of a sudden, those weights you call heavy, over time might become light. And that's progress. So have an awesome day. Hope that helps. Any questions, as always,